Bitcoin absolutely relentless on the daily chart. Look at this BTC chart. It is just, once again, moving away from this 20-day moving average. We got pulled in a little bit in the area of consolidation that you see here on the screen. 6-hour chart kind of demonstrates it nicely. I'm going to spend a bit of a time on the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, but potential power play getting ready to happen. Going to evaluate it, talk about it realistically, and then ADA on the charts, everybody. It is extremely exciting to track this, and I'm not saying that because something bullish is happening or anything like that. We're still waiting for confirmations here, but just the fact that it is just testing such a nice technical analysis indicator of resistance, and it's at this shorter term meeting point. That's what's exciting. So I want to break that down, break that move down, talk about what it means for ADA in those long term. But real quick, here's the Bitcoin weekly chart. Something to note, besides just an awesome looking wick on this weekly candle right now, about to turn green, very close, still 4 days, 3 hours left on this weekly candle. We'll monitor, we'll see how it closes, but we have these moving averages just above Bitcoin. I want to just make a quick note. I've mentioned this before, I believe. Bitcoin has never exited a bear market and tested the 200-week moving average in red. It has tested and broken above the 50-week moving average. It's a move we obviously want to see, but it's kind of like this double resistance area. Bitcoin falling below that 200-week moving average is a first-time move in this bear market. So this area, 50-week moving average down to the 200-week moving average, it's like right around $25,000. Huge area of resistance on the macro. And I wanted to bring that up just because as we start really zooming in and we start talking about potential case for Bitcoin to continue to the upside, I think it's a really crucial area just to watch. It's something I'm watching. And before we dive into the daily and the shorter term 6-hour chart in Bitcoin, this is obviously what has happened today. The rates were raised 0.25 basis points. S&P 500 gains on Wednesday as investors shake off Fed's latest rate hike, bet on falling inflation. There's kind of this feel-good vibe in the air right now. Things are working. Inflation's slowly coming down. Trueflation, which is on-chain Oracle data provided by Trueflation app, continuing to come down. It's acted as a really, really useful leading indicator for these things. So markets could be right. Things could be turning around. I think the move that we're getting really plays into just Powell's speech today, a little bit more dovish, kind of optimistic, bullish sounding. He said we can now say for the first time that the disinflationary process has started. We can see that, and we see it really in goods prices so far. So I think what we're seeing on the charts right now, and we can actually just check this out real quick, S&P 500 on the hourly, market's closed now, but you see this pop to the upside. I think it's based on this shorter term optimistic emotion. And so that's also for me, as we start zooming out on the charts a little bit in cycles of crypto and where S&P 500 is and markets are, for me, it's a little bit of a caution sign. And I know I use the word caution a lot. A lot of people just, they kind of want me to let go of that and just be bullish. There's green candles, just be bullish. But I always like to just try and get a gauge of the emotion, what's happening here. And I think this is an emotional move. Most things are in these charts. But the reason being is we have the US dollar currency index also continuing to fall. So I question, as it's falling and it's actually starting to get some separation away from the 20-day moving average here, when will the pullback be to the upside, and what does that look like on the Bitcoin charts? We know when the US dollar currency chart is falling, we do see equity markets, risk-on assets, Bitcoin, we see them tending to go up, right? So that's what's happening right now. So here's the weekly, just turned green as I'm doing this video, which is pretty cool to see. We're going once again, monitor that. But on the daily chart, look at this separation, testing previous highs. We have this wick on the daily chart from January 29th right here, and just Bitcoin right now testing this level. I want to go take a look at what it looks like on the 6-hour chart. So here we are on the 6-hour, kind of have this upper trend line that Bitcoin, we could sit here and say is a target for Bitcoin, just a higher high area. And where is it? It's right around $25,000. It's meaningful because if we get this pattern of continuation to the upside, higher highs and higher lows, this move continues. That's a meaningful area of resistance because of what we just looked at on the weekly chart. That 200-week moving average sitting at $24,800. So everybody, Bitcoin is one move away from testing just this insane first-time macro move, which is, again, testing the 200-week moving average coming out of this bear market. So that move getting set up on the 6 hour. The other thing on the 6 hour I wanted to discuss was this. I think the biggest thing I'm watching, Bitcoin makes a move, even if it puts in a new higher high here on this chart, say we do hit $25,000, really want to see this trend break, which is just a bunch of lower highs on this 6 hour RSI. It's also illustrated on the daily chart, these lower highs, but more so on this 6 hour, it's just a very nice picture, a clean picture of these lower highs. This momentum, the momentum of Bitcoin just fading. That's what the picture is. Really want to see this previous lower high broken with this momentum oscillator on the 6 hour chart. Bitcoin, one powerful move away from that happening, kind of breaking this trend apart. And I think that could be good in terms of just getting away from that shorter term caution of, hey, there's some bearish divergence on all of these charts. Bulls are losing momentum. If we get this crazy pop of volume and momentum to the upside, I think that trend could be broken and we could see a really, really powerful move, a power play for Bitcoin. But that $25,000 higher high area on Bitcoin right now is a big area that I'm watching. One thing to note on the daily chart, it is good to see that there was just this boring sideways consolidation. You see it allowed that 20-day moving average, which is exactly what we wanted to see happen. It allowed it to at least pull close to Bitcoin. So in this environment where we do see continuation for Bitcoin bulls, that's exactly what we want to see. It's a way more just, I would say, safe environment for Bitcoin to put in new highs on the shorter term charts where it's consolidating first before continuing to the upside. Anytime we get just crazy parabolic separation from the 20-day moving average, I start getting really concerned. So I like to see it get pulled back in. The other thing to note is this. If you look at the daily RSI, you can see Bitcoin actually fell briefly out of the overbought territory, kind of a reset here on these charts, which is another thing. We talked about prior. We didn't want to see Bitcoin just hang out up here in this area. And we got a little exit from that area, nice consolidation here. So there's room to the upside right now on the short term for Bitcoin to continue. Question is, will it? You can even see on the 6 hour RSI, there's that room for upside. We're not even in overbought territory right now. So let's see what Bitcoin does tonight going into the new daily candle in like 2.5 hours. That's what I'll be watching. Going over to ADA on the monthly chart. Let's start here on the monthly chart. Just one thing to note. Whatever happens today, whatever happens tomorrow, this week, even next month, when we look at this monthly oscillator, this is a stock RSI, a quicker moving momentum oscillator. It's just a picture of the pain that was endured and even sideways pain of reset of momentum and what's happening now. A new era is beginning. We're entering this new phase, this new cycle. There could still be shorter term downside. There can be a lot of volatility and this could kind of just trickle sideways a little bit. But for me, when I look at this chart, this just tells me the worst is over for ADA holders. And that excites me as we monitor this monthly chart. We pivot to the weekly chart, just like Bitcoin. ADA kind of putting in a really nice looking wick on this weekly, not green just yet, like the Bitcoin candle we just looked at, but really looking awesome. ADA this month, the month of January, really performing awesome. 50% plus gains to the upside, outperforming a bunch of different cryptos. And right now, here we are. This macro pivot point has happened. We've broken above the 20-week moving average. We've even closed a couple candles, weekly candles above that area. It has started. The pivot into this new cycle has started. Doesn't mean, once again, there's not going to be downside potentially in play, higher lows, all that good stuff. But here we go on the daily chart. The short-term move that I think everybody's waiting for. Is it going to happen? Take a look at this quick clip from a few weeks ago. So 40 cents, the 200-day moving average. And then over on the weekly, 36 cents, the 20-week moving average. So everybody, 36 to 40 cents is a huge macro area. 36 to 40 cents. And that was weeks ago at 29 cents. ADA has made the move, and it's there. So this area right now is, and you can just look at it. Look at the 200-day moving average hitting the 786 line of the Fibonacci. The 618's down here. But look at the confluent resistance, and just let's zoom in here on this daily chart. This is insane to look at this. You have just days of insane resistance. So 1, 2, 3, for, and right now, as I do this video, and this is why it's exciting, it's becoming repetitive now to talk about this resistance area, but right now testing this upper end, the 786 of the Fibonacci. And if you're not aware, the Fibonacci is very simply, as we do this macro pivot from bear to bull, the Fibonacci is more of a midterm lower high that ADA is stuck in, right? So swing high back here, and that, when I say back here, it's November, to swing low, ADA trying to really put in a nice picture of this macro pivot that we're seeing. I think if we go to the weekly, I just want to note this. The pivot is happening. It's happened, and we're getting clues on the Bitcoin charts and cycles and everything. But a really strong picture of ADA pivoting itself, besides just breaking above that 20-week moving average, is to break previous lower highs. Because if we zoom out, we know the story. That's the story. It's been lower highs for ADA this entire time. So for me, I just really want, even if ADA actually does break it and falls back down, a big fall, right? Even below 30 cents. I know it sounds like crazy, but it's possible. Even if that happens, that's exactly the type of move I want to see. I want to see a higher high put in for ADA. I don't know exactly what it would look like. You go back here, we know where the recent highs are, like this 43-cent area is a really crucial area if ADA could get up there. But right now, testing this shorter term resistance as I do this video, 36 to 40 cents truly is a huge area of resistance. You can see as I do this video right now, ADA is just above the 786 line of this Fibonacci. As I upload, this could already be back below it and down, but we're just going to continue monitoring this going into tonight's new candle. It's a new daily candle and right around 2.5 hours, and we'll see how that new daily candle just closes or opens. And the thing is, as we come off the back of the shorter term emotion, just coming off the FOMC meeting and interest rate news and all that stuff, as we come out of that, it's going to be interesting, even in the next 12, 24 hours, to see how cryptos react and how they kind of hit and interact with resistance areas like this. That's what I'll be watching on ADA. We go over to the 6-hour chart, just a little bit more in-depth look at what ADA is looking like right now at this resistance. And the one thing I want to note is, to the upside, very similar to Bitcoin, we've had these higher or these lower highs. And to the upside, on the 6-hour chart, a lot of room for an explosive move. So this could be a significant move for ADA if it can just muster up the energy and the strength to break above this resistance area that it's at right now as I do this video. Bunch of momentum to the upside, and it could also just kind of take away this lower high trend that it's been in of momentum and kind of start shifting that around as well. So macro shift happening on the zoomed out charts, I think, for ADA, which is awesome for us long-term holders, and just the macro shift, I think the worst is over. But even on the shorter term, a potential shift happening, a shift of momentum playing out right here on this chart. And can ADA bulls step in and just break this lower high momentum and break this huge resistance that we have right now? So time will tell. We'll monitor it. We'll check it out. Wanted to put this video out there. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe, hit that like button for me. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.